Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever, where today we're going to be looking at a... what is this, a 7v7? 1, 2, 3. I should know this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7v7! Played on the Awasa map generator. With Team 1 in the top left, Team 2 in the bottom right. Let's go ahead and get into introducing our players, but before we do, please remember to like and or subscribe. If you aren't subscribed, of course, and check out the Patreon and possibly channel membership. The Patreon has a new feature. If you are of certain tiers, you can get a replay review video. Yeah, you can get a video where I watch your replay from your perspective and give advice. It may not be good advice. It may even just be me memeing on you, but it'll be about you. And I know how you narcissists are out there. So fuck you, pay me. Let's go ahead and start with introducing Team 1. We're going to start with the furthest northern player, a orange Cybern going by the name of Mickey Borg, going first air. Then we can move on to his first ally to the southwest. We have ourselves a gray Seraphim going first land by the name of Zoom. Then down to the southeast, we have ourselves a pink Seraphim going first air by the name of Ryan 103. To the northeast, we have ourselves a red Seraphim. So many bad choices being made by Team 1. His name is Geneva Convention, and he's going first land. Then to the east, we have ourselves a gray UEF going first land, making the first good decision of the game by picking UEF, and his name is Taylor O'Shea. His or her name, I don't know, seems weird name. Then we have a green Cybern going first land by the name of Sardas. And then we have, last but not least, for Team 1, a Cyan UEF going first land by the name of Zaznaba. And I think that's all the players for Team 1, so moving on to Team 2, starting in the furthest south position, we have a purple Seraphim going first land by the name of La Fuck You. I know somebody told me it's not actually La Fuck You, but fuck it, it's funny. Moving on to the UEF player to his northeast, it's a blue UEF going first land by the name of Romeo in Scarlet. Going on to the straight western player to him, it's a white Cybern going first land by the name of Metabog. I couldn't see his name for a second. And then to the west, already heading out, we have a green Cybern going first land by the name of Anya Reika. And then we have a red Seraphim going first land by the name of Dave. We got Dave here. Then we have a purple Cybern going first land by the name of I'm Happy. And last but not least for the entire game, if I haven't fucked up everybody's name before, it is GS4. His name is GS4. He's a blue Aeon going first land. And with that, we can speed the game up to +0 speed. This game's another long one, as most of my casts are. Not quite as long as some of the feature-length ones, but it's going to be pretty fun, so grab your popcorn, get settled in. It's a 93% balanced game here on the Awasa map generator. Looking at the map, there's about 8,000 reclaim spread throughout the map, so not a huge amount of reclaim to start off with, and we have a ton of mass extractors to be picked up by these players. It's going to be a heavy eco game. You're going to have to see who can gain and maintain control of large swaths of these mass extractor fields, because if they do, they can be getting up to those T3 and T4 stages of the game very, very quickly. And it will be very interesting to see. We already have a 2-1 transport out from Ryan, our highest rated player, and he is going to be trying to pick up as many mass extractors and reclaim as possible, but dropping air engineers right next to a comm seems like a poor choice of your invested time. That comm is going to blap that engineer out of existence, and this reclaim field going to probably go to GS4, who's trying to manually reclaim his way through it, going for the bigger rocks at first. We have Geneva Convention, or Convention, but Convention, fuck that, it's Convention. Going over here to this crater for some reason, doesn't seem to have too much going on. Trying to just get out to this large field of mass extractors, it would seem. And it seems as though Ryan may get a little bit of reclaim, but isn't going to be able to pick up very many mass extractors, maybe just one, but it's going to go down pretty quickly. So, does seem as though, or well, no, maybe not. He may be able to hold on to that, as he, of course, has his allies showing up. I, for some reason, thought he was on the southern team for a second, but no, the southern team just blapped away a couple of his engineers. So the northern team making a heavy play for the top right-hand corner, while the southern team seemingly a little bit more focused on the southwestern corner. Not sure if it's going to work out, as we do have Zasnova over here getting out quite early and already going to have quite a few factories built up on the front line. Going to have to see if he can handle it and maintain control of this area. The furthest west expansion going mostly over to Metaborg, or Metabog, I mean. And on the far eastern side, seems as though Ryan and, of course, Taylor and maybe a little bit of Geneva are expanding quite heavily, trying to get as many mass extractors as possible. And we have very much going on. Anya Reika moving forward with the comm, going to try and take away some of these early mass extractors scooped up by Zasnoba. Over here in the south side, we have Romeo and I'm Happy making their way towards the comm of Zasnoba, and he's going to have to fall back a little bit. He has a lot of factories here, but he's kind of getting shut down by the mass spam and the double comm coming to attack him. He's somewhat alone on this flank, as almost no other comms have come down here. Ryan finally making his way down to the south, but does not seem like he's going to have very much to support his ally Zasnoba, who's going to have to fall back now, and he's probably going to lose quite a bit in his factories. Would like to see a reclaim order out from one of these comms. Reclaiming factories is the fastest way to kill them with your comm, at least without a gun upgrade or two. And we have a bit of a skirmish going on between the units. On the northern side, we have GS4 and Mickey Borg going to work against each other, but GS4 going to be able to get up a T1 PD. Don't know how long that's going to survive. The comm is within range, and comms can kill the T1 PD pretty effectively. T1 bomber out from Dave trying to help out, but does end up doing a little bit of friendly fire damage there, and GS4 managing to get that PD is going to hold steady for now. On the western side, the three comms have forced back Zasnoba pretty far. Zasnoba going to try and get a gun upgrade, but does not look like it's going to be super successful. Yet again, would like to see a reclaim order. These factories could have been dealt with by now by just simply reclaiming them. But, of course, it's a little bit more APM than these players may be willing to invest in. It might be a little bit risky, as there's a lot of units in the area. I'm Happy walking forward into a situation he probably doesn't want to be in. A lot of units going to be able to push forward on towards his comm. And Anya Reika going to be showing up on the western side, whereas Romeo coming up from the back to try and help with all of this spam over here. Speed and range now on the way for Dave. GS4 just trying to get some reclaim done and possibly eco up, get up to that tech too. Pretty early on the furthest west side, looks like Ryan trying to oust Metabog from this furthest west position. Don't know how well that's going to go for him. There are a few factories here, and I guess it is a comm just versus standard units, but would seem like that might be a difficult ask for him. Over here, Anya Reika is continuing to expand and has a nice amount of production just kind of starting to get built up over here. 8 factories, going to be something to contend with, at least until we hit the T2 phase, and if he gets 4 of these factories to T2, it's going to be very powerful for them. Anya also, I guess, could be a female name, but I'm just going to go with him, since considering over 99% of my viewer base is male, and that is kind of indicative of the player base of FAF. So not going to try and beat around the bush, and for some reason people really hate when I call people they. Over here, speed and range on the way for I'm Happy. Might be a little bit hasty over here, because he's getting pushed by both the gun comm of Zasnoba and the normal comm of Sardas. I'm going to assume it's a silent K from now on. And Sardas is going to continue to fall back now after forcing a cancel on that gun speed and range for I'm Happy. Not a very happy situation. Gun speed and range almost finishing up for Dave. GS4 even helping out. Gun speed and range has already been finished up for Geneva Covention. And it does seem that GS4 and Dave are going to have to fall back now. Would like to see some overcharges maybe coming out from one of these players. Could help with the land spam, but Geneva Covention going to be pushing forward. Dave needs to be a little bit careful, but he does have gun and he does have a lot of allied reinforcements coming forward. It would be time to push forward right now. That's what I would be doing. Geneva Covention probably needs to fall back. He doesn't really have that many supporting units. He has some back here and maybe a few helping units coming out from his ally Taylor, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. Speed and range yet again on the way for one of these players in the west. Seems as though it's Anya this time opting for it, and I'm happy he's just going to support this time. Using those Mantis for their build power, each of them using 1 mass and 30 power, going to be very useful to get that upgrade faster as long as you can afford it. Mantis helping your comm get the first upgrade is usually worth it. And Romeo going to be falling back as the comm of Zaznova putting in work already up to, it's only up to 7 kills, but it's probably poured a lot of damage into the comms down here as I'm happy, and Anya not looking too good for wear. They're pretty much lost half of their HP, both of them, and Zaznova sitting on a pretty healthy HP point. There is gun speed and range done, of course, for Dave, but now T2 on the way for GS4. Could see some fire basing coming out on this eastern side for Team 2. And overall, the map situation, we can just check it by looking at this. It looks as though it's maybe a 55-45 split, with Team 1 being slightly ahead, and that does show in the doesn't show in the mass. Instead, Team 2 ecoing a little better, but it does feel as though Team 1 managing to hold on to a few more mass points. But that could be completely wrong. I don't have time to count every mass point for each team. Zaznova continuing to try and fight off the armies of Anya. Anya still working on this upgrade. It's looking about 80 to 90% complete. Needs to just finish it up so he can start bullying Zaznova off. Speed and range on the way. Did somebody die? No, nobody died. Dave over here on the eastern side, I guess that was a pause that was tripping me out, is trying to fight it off, but Geneva Covention showing up with the gun speed and range comm. GS4 the only one with units there, whereas Taylor and Geneva trying to work together, get enough units out over here. Geneva starting to lose quite a bit of health, going down to 8,000 HP, and his opponent is doing the same. Dave going to be working on all this. T2 is already done for GS4. GS4 not really able to afford T2 though, as he's still building PD seemingly quite slowly for a T2 comm, but that could just be my imagination, as that one seems to go up pretty quickly. T2 PD not really a good option when you're in these close-in knife fights with other commanders. Geneva Covention going to be dropping really low on health, gets a rank of veterancy just in time to kind of help him out with retreating here, but he is going to have to retreat, and it does seem like there's going to be a massive mass field dropped right here on the doorstep for GS4 and Dave to collect. Dave going to be falling back. I don't quite know why. He needs to continue to stay up in this fight and help out his ally GS4. GS4 going to be nope, this is not the play. Do not help him build it. The T2 comm's going to do more than your comm will, and you'll be able to get quite a little bit more done with your higher DPS cannon on that comm. Use the gun indeed. GS4 asking his ally, in not necessarily a polite manner, but a very, what's the word? Aggressive manner to use the upgrade that they both invested in. GS4 did help to get that gun damage or gun speed and range upgrade. Of course, me slipping there, as damage and range is the best upgrade, and does happen to be over here on Taylor's comm. This fight just kind of constant. On the western side, they're still fighting, but it does seem as though Zaznova and Sardis are gonna have a little bit of a trouble holding on to this side of the map. And it does seem that Team 2 has managed to oust Team 1 from the western side. On the eastern side, Team 2 is still fighting, but really doesn't have a stronghold. There's a couple of mass extractors at play here, but aren't really making any headway. I would like to see some engineers getting out here to this mass field for Team 2. I think it's much closer to their factories and they could afford to do it. But of course, that is APM, the oh-so-taxable resource here in FAF. Now, Dave is going to fall back a little bit further with the comm, and on the cards right now, we have a Corsair snipe possibly coming out from Mickey Borg. Gonna have to keep an eye on that, but we might want to do some tracking. And that regen aura started up for Dave. On the western side, the comm snipe maybe could go for one of these players, but I think it would be a little bit harder to snipe on this western side. You definitely have more targets, but on the eastern side, the comms are already low. He just probably needs to get some vision. He already probably has enough to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and track these Corsairs just in case the snipe is coming very soon. Let's go ahead and get a bit of a cinematic angle, because if they're coming from this angle, this is exactly how it's going to look. Corsairs going in, or will they go for Dave or GS4? Dave on an upgrade might be the safer option, less dodge potential, and they are coming in for their bombing run onto Dave, and Dave goes down to the Corsair snipe, and still there's some Corsairs left over. This could be a double kill for Mickey Borg. There's not really many interceptors in the area, and Dave is getting fired at. Dave gonna do a little bit of dodging, might be worth it. Let's go ahead and look at it. Dave falling down to 2,000 HP, 1,000 HP. If he takes another couple of volleys, that's it. He is out of this game, and that's going to be 2 players ejected. Is there enough Corsairs? Are there enough interceptors? Who is going to win this war for the air? Down to 1,000 HP, down below 1,000 HP. Any more Corsair shots, and he's dead, and he dies to the likes of Mickey Borg's Cybran air power. And that is going to be the end of 2 players on Team 2 at the 12 to 13 minute mark. It's going to be leaving a huge hole in the defenses for Team 2. Gonna need to get out here and take up these mass extractors very quickly. The good news is there's very many mass extractors kind of just sitting right here for the taking for these players. The bases being very close together does help them out with taking over the initial mass, but gonna need to start pushing back Team 1 on this eastern side. And over here, Ryan is echoing up a storm, has so many T2 mexes over on this eastern side. And when we go ahead and look at the overall reclaim, we can see Metabog at the forefront of the reclaim game with 6.7 thousand. Closest behind him is Sardas at 5,000, and then Luffa Q is at 5,000. Let's go ahead and look at the mass game. Ryan leading the pack at 116. Close behind him at 114 is Luffa Q and Metaborg at 110. Everybody else is below 100 and therefore irrelevant in the mind of this caster. Overall mass generation, Team 1 very much so behind on mass generation, which is interesting. Does seem as though Metabog and Luffa Q are doing quite a good job with the focus on getting themselves up a strong economic backboard, and admittedly both of them kind of expanding quite a bit to the west. We also could see Anya, if they start upgrading their mexes pretty rapidly here, get quite a huge economic powerhouse, or be an economic powerhouse is I guess what I should have said, as they are holding quite a few mass extractors. Over here to the southeast, a little bit of a raid coming out from Taylor after taking out those 2 players. This area being quickly taken over by I'm Happy and Metabog. Gonna be quite the advantage for them if they can manage to take it over and start pushing on the eastern side. Taylor getting into the power grid of our blue UEF, Romeo, whose comm is way over here. Luffa Q showing up with a nano regen gun and T2 upgraded comm, which is going to be quite the force to be reckoned with. Can definitely help shore up the defense on this eastern side. But Taylor Shea showing up with a Taylor O'Shea. Okay, I guess that's how it is. Showing up with a fire base and a lot of factories. He's going to be trying to get in on this reclaim over here on this side, and overall the reclaim has been sucked up quite a bit, and we can go ahead and check on reclaim yet again, and does seem as though it's changed a little bit, but Team 2 is still doing better on reclaim after taking up their allies' dead bases. There was no chance in hell of Taylor grabbing on to that reclaim. And the units for Taylor are going to be cleaned up, so that's not going to be a ever-present threat, at least at the moment. T3 air achieved by both Romeo and Metabug. On the northern side, T3 air also achieved for Mickey Borg and Zoom. And overall in the air game, there's a Strat Bomber out here, but it seems as though Zoom might just kind of have it under control. Zoom has the most ASF out on the field right now, and this Strat Bomber not going to get too terribly much done, it does not seem. A Strat Bomber out from Zoom coming into this northern side. Looks like it's going to go for the comm of I'm Happy. I'm Happy in a dangerous position. Tried to hover bomb, it wasn't quite enough. Needs to kill off that Strat Bomber before it can get in another pass. Another pass would definitely kill off the comm of I'm Happy. I'm Happy in a tough position. He needs to dodge this perfectly because it's getting another drop. And he manages to pull off a pretty impressive dodge, taking almost no damage from the Strat Bomber, but needs that Strat Bomber shot down right now. We have one lonely ASF trying to get air superiority by shooting down the Bomber. The Bomber down to 60 HP. Oh, he might need to make another miracle dodge over here, but does not necessarily seem like that's going to happen. Strat Bomber coming in, killing off a recently captured Mass Extractor. Seems as though Romeo trying to get into the air game a bit heavier now. The comm of Sardis going to be showing up and pushing back the expansionist goals of Anya and I'm Happy. I'm Happy still alive over here and is regenning pretty well. Does have a few ranks of veterancy, going to help him out in getting his health back up to a reasonable number. But overall, Team 1 just in control of air. Both Mickey Borg and Zoom doing quite good in the air, and it's surprising considering Mickey Borg invested so much into that early air snipe. And getting 2 comms and still being reasonably competitive in the air game is huge. And right now, Team 2 kind of hurting, down about 50 mass a second, and also just kind of not able to maintain map control. The shining spots economically are all of their players except for one are over 100 mass a second, and I think the one who's not over is in a massive power stall and will be once they are. And Romeo defeated by a Control K. I don't believe that. He must have been next to a Strat Bomb, next to a power gen, unless that was just a Control K. If that was just a Control K, did not make much sense because he shouldn't have. It's just everybody is trying to kind of coming to the conclusion that it was Control K, nobody taking credit for the kill. So if that was a Control K, quite a scummy one. In fact, Romeo may be getting our scumbag award of the cast if that was a Control K. Go into the comments if you're Romeo and tell me if it was a Control K or not, and be honest, because we'll know. I will watch this back, and if you lie to me, I will be very, very upset with you. Actually, I won't care whatsoever, and I'm not going to watch it back because it's not worth my time. But you can believe what you want. Oh, man. The air game not going the way of Team 2, and also the ground game kind of failing them too, not doing too well in the west and having struggles in the east. It's still just T1 and of course the comm of Geneva Convention, but we have a spider started, which can definitely sway the ground game, and Geneva Convention gonna push forward, gonna start pressuring I'm Happy. A Strat Bomber out from Luffaku, gonna drop a bomb on Geneva Convention, but with that Nano Region Aura, and Gun Comm, Geneva gonna be quite the tanky boy. 88 health a second and 19,000 health is gonna be very, very nice for surviving for an extended period of time in almost any fight. I'm Happy throwing out the GG. Are we gonna see another Control K? Doesn't quite seem like it. He does have a few bricks over here which are going to really help in the defense of his base, but his base is slowly crumbling around him, and it just does kind of seem that he is going to struggle against Geneva Convention's very, very upgraded comm. A chicken also on the way now, Lufaq. This spider being thrown up in record time as Metaborg, Metabog, I don't know why I keep on saying Borg. Maybe it's because Mickey Borg is in the game. Metabog is getting his spider built absolutely instantly. Like, this is a very fast spider. Gonna build some Sams to try and like just switch up his build to Sams really quick. Try and shut down this air that's trying to camp Lufaq. He has T3 air himself, so also trying to camp him. Even up the air game a little bit, and then go right back to that spider, which he was building at record speed. He has almost 200 mass a second, so able to build that spider quite quickly. Geneva, Covention, and Taylor don't know how aware they are of the spider being a immediate threat. Did anybody ping it? Doesn't seem as though they did. There was definitely vision of it. There were ASF flying over it for a while. Geneva Covention still deciding to posture quite aggressively. There are bricks over here that he is happy to soak up and kill. Up to 4 ranks of veterancy. Now at 21,000 HP and 94 HP a second. Gonna be going up quite quickly. Each brick he kills is about 1,000 mass killed, so he's gonna be at that 10k mark pretty quickly, assuming, yep, it is at that 10k mark. Needs to kill like one more thing and he can be able to get that 5 vet calm. Is he gonna be able to do it? Yep, and now he's at a 5 vet calm, 22,500 HP and 100 HP a second, versus the Monkey Lord at 4,500 HP. A Strat Bomber comes in, taking off about 2,000 HP from the calm of Geneva Covention, and the spider is starting to walk forward. Is this going to be a kill on to one of the Team 1 players desperately needed at this point in time? Let's go ahead and go back to Observer and get a cinematic shot of what might transpire. The monkey approaching the calm of Geneva Covention. Geneva Covention seemingly stuck in the zooies of Ryan. Ryan kind of stopping his ally from retreating right now. A Strat Bomber lands yet again. A shot onto the calm of Geneva Covention, and Geneva Covention right on top of the Monkey Lord. It's not going to be a very fair fight with that massive microwave laser cannon. And Geneva Covention goes down to the Monkey Lord, and he's going to be forced back. And that is, well, not really forced back. He's going to be killed. And his base is now for the taking, right next to Ryan, who has the largest economy in the game right now, I believe. And admittedly was kind of the fault of his ally's death. His ally could have continued to run away. The Monkey Lord now threatening Taylor, who isn't running away. Is this going to be a double kill for the Monkey Lord? I am going to go ahead and track the Monkey Lord again. Whoa, I'm happy getting killed off by Mickey Borg. Another Corsair snipe? Are you kidding me? Oh, everything happening at once. I'm happy going down. Admittedly, probably the weakest player for Team 2, but every single player that goes down is just a little bit hot, makes the mountain a little bit steeper for Team 2 to climb. Team 2 in such a desperate position now, but Taylor Shea not gonna run away, gonna stand and fight as his comm is going to be taken down by a Monkey Lord, or so it would seem. Monkey Lord firing into the comm of Taylor Shea. And yet another nuclear explosion going on as Corsairs come in to kill off the Monkey Lord. Monkey Lord goes down. We can hear its death cry there with its giant explosion. And man, after all of that action, it does seem as though people are kind of out of things to throw at each other. The map has gotten a lot more sparse for both sides as far as units and structures go with all of those ejections. As the dust settles, as it were, we can check out these teams about 100 mass a second behind for Team 1. Team 2, in fact, somehow ahead on mass per second. That might be a lie, though. But overall, it's a 3v5 now. Team 2 desperately lacking players. Every player you lose does tax the APM of these remaining players, and that is a very significant note to make. Even though some of these players are pretty high rated, APM is a very limited thing and it's very individual. Some people have hundreds of it, some people struggle to get to 80. But these players going to have to fight really hard. Team 2 in such a weak position, honestly. They have some decent economies. Every single player over 200 mass a second. Every single player with a strong economy. But Ryan right now has been a silent giant and is now working on an Awasa. He's going to be building the T4 experimental bomber for the Seraphim. Such a disgusting piece of technology used to glass Earth in what could be considered quite the war crime, and is now going to be used on the battlefield once again, not against the UEF this time, as the UEF for Team 2, the only UEF player I believe, has already died. We still have a UEF kicking around in the form of, well, what's his name? Zaznoba. He's our last representative of the UEF this game, who have admittedly had a poor showing, but you can't all be winners. Sometimes you have to let other factions take the spotlight, as a Yathoda starts marching into the base of our UEF, and also kind of Ryan. Looks like the experimental bomber needs the paint job to be finished, and it's going to be done. So I don't know if this Yathoda will be able to stop the experimental bomber from being a threat. The comm of Zaznoba possibly under threat here. The chicken, though, on fire and possibly going to die quite early on in this push, taking a lot of damage from many sources. And it seems as though it's going to go down in a massive explosion. That was the explosion of a... I don't even know what that was. Was that a T3 power generator? Or was that a bomb out from the Awasa? Didn't seem like the Awasa had the optimal path for bombing right there. Awasa took a decent amount of damage in that exchange, be it from ASF or whatever you may call. But Awasa on the field. There's multiple experimentals now kicking around for various players. And right now, well, that might be a lie. It seems as though with the chicken dying, the Awasa is the only experimental still around. T3 land achieved by Ryan over here on the northern side. The Awasa going to be used as close-in base defense, which is a tricky game to play. You can definitely do more harm than good to your allies and yourself if you do it wrong. But Ryan, a relatively high-rated player, probably not going to make huge mistakes in microing that, not going to bomb something that's in the middle of his base. Strat bomber over here on the eastern side from Lufaq, going to be used to try and deal significant damage over onto the economy of Ryan, but the strat bomber has to get double passes to kill off these T3 mass extractors, and that just does not seem to be on the cards. A capped off T1 mechs, love to see it. Probably just the mechs died or something, or he queued up those whenever thinking his mechs would be upgraded. The Awasa at 103 kills, almost one rank of veterancy, going to be a force to be reckoned with indeed. And over here on the eastern side, Sardus has he has laser and cloak on the comm. Seems he's made a path of destruction down here to the southern side, but he's now been spotted out by, I would guess, somebody's Omni or something, and he's now getting shot at by T3 gunships, and this could be pretty dangerous for himself. I don't think that cliff is going to protect you, my friend. You need to keep running. He's probably trying to get out of Omni range, but it seems as though this T3 scout's just going to cover the area, and Sardus may be going down. I would think that the ASF out from Team 1 really need to start getting involved in order to save their ally. This green player, I mean, he's done pretty good for himself, and he has been producing units. He's been playing very aggressively with the comm, but now he's down to 13,000 HP and falling quickly. There's some bouncers on the way to try and help the gunships kill off Sardus as more ASF pile in. Seems as though Metabog has enough ASF to kind of help with this. 6,000 HP and falling. He's not going to get a rank of veterancy. He's full vet. 45 health a second. Seems like a lot, but doesn't really do much when you're getting fired at by T3 units. Has his bricks showing up to try and help with any kind of ground threat, but more and more whalers being pumped out as fast as Metabog can get them. And the whalers also somewhat contributing to the air fight, not probably being too efficient, but every little bit helps. as it seems as though Metabog might be winning this with all of the focus onto the gunships. It seems as though Sardis might just be a lost cause. Down to 1,000 HP. This Whaler needs to continue to fire on him. He needs to continue to keep up vision, and he has multiple of these. Oh, never mind. He's just dead. Was killed by Anya. Was that a shot from the Gunther? Oh, if it was a shot from the Gunther, that's hilarious. But Anya snatches the kill away from Metabog. Not that I think Metabog particularly cares. And Awasa going to come in and clear up this entire fire base for Anya. And Anya is now in a pretty strong position. We have multiple nuke launchers already up for Team 2. Seems as though there's a Liberator for Anya and a Has-to for the player known as Luffaq. And this Has-to might be firing very soon. Yeah, let's go ahead and get like a cinematic shot of the Has-to, because I think that's going to fire any moment now. It already seems to be pre-selected on a target of some kind. Wonder if it will land or just be shot down. An experimental has been completed. That's a chicken over in the north for Ryan. And we have the strategic launch detected. Going to be able to follow this nuke in its path of destruction. Is it going to be able to land, or is something going to block it? We'll know in a matter of seconds, as it's getting very close to the base of Team 1. And it does seem like nothing's going to stop it unless there's something way in the back of one of the air player bases. And it's going to land onto the air grid of Zoom, who has been pretty dominant in the air so far. And that's going to be the death of a lot of build power and mass extractors for Zoom. On the other side of things, though, Ryan has a Awasa heading in. I'm apparently going to get just all of the cinematic shots today. And the Awasa is going to come in. Looks like it's going to be going for maybe the nuke launcher. Drops its bomb, takes out the shield maybe, and lands on the nuke launcher and kills it. But that's a huge mass donation over to Luffaq. And I don't know if I'd be happy or upset by that. You did just launch a nuke. You did get the value of the nuke launcher. It did take out a ton of the base for one of the enemy air players, and you are the primary air player for your team. I think that's a win, because you can just reclaim this and throw it into whatever the hell you want. Throw it into chickens or something. Speaking of chickens, that chicken that was completed on the north side for Ryan has made its way to the front, but does seem a little bit timid to just walk in. And rightfully so. There is quite a few of point-to-point defense over here built up. T3 support commanders out for Ryan. Gonna be the engineering preset as it walks forward and starts killing off mass extractors for Tanya. Megalith on the way, nearly completed for Metabog. And as we take a step back, we can see that the mass incomes for these players is pretty much even between the teams. Most of the mass in the game are held by Metabog and Ryan. Luffaq also having quite a bit, and Mickey Borg having a lot as well. Anya doing better than Zoom and Zaznova. Zoom, of course, has quite the excuse, and Zaznova has been kind of shoved into his base mexes, so he's going to be in a it's going to be a difficult position for him to really do much unless he gets some expansion up. A lot of Zooies now pushing down this northern side, pushing west along the northern side of this base, maybe going for some of Anya's main base kind of area. Anya has 8 T2 HQs. Oh no, Anya has 8 T2 HQs. Oh, this is brutal. I just noticed that. Oh, poor Anya. Didn't use the HQ mechanic properly and has paid infinitely more for the exact same amount of production. Oh, that's so bad. The support commander over here that was destroying mass extractors shoot away by some bricks. Doesn't have overcharge to deal with them, and nor would I think it really deal with them head up if it was even a Rambo comm. Zooey's firing on anti-air emplacements for Anya. The air game is still a bit of a sore spot for Team 2. Team 1 still ahead. Mickey Borg able to pick up the slack of Zaznova, or not Zaznova, of Zoom, getting his base destroyed. Another Awasa, finishing up as we speak. That's Awasa number 2, coming out onto the battlefield for some fun. 2 chickens on the northern side versus 1 megalith. Pretty sure the chickens win this, but the chicken's gonna fall back for now. The bricks over here that shoot away the support commander going to go down to a Awasa bomb. Get it about a fifth of the way towards its first rank of veterancy. A strategic launch detected. Where is it going? That's gonna be blocked. Yeah. No need to worry about that nuke. That nuke is destined to fail. Megalith having a intense agreement with the terrain features. I get it. You really don't like that rock. Upon seeing 3 chickens, I think the Megalith will decide it's time to hit the old dusty trail. Because 3 chickens is definitely enough to kill off 1 Megalith. The ASF for Luffa Q seemingly making an excursion out and paying dearly for it as they're caught from behind by all of the ASF of Mickey Borg and Zoom. A lot of ASF also out for Metabog. Might be an air fight ensuing pretty soon, as I think this Megalith versus chicken debacle is going to prompt quite the fight over here on the southern side. The Awasa just kind of sitting in the base, not doing too much of note. Is that another chicken? Yet another chicken. 4 chickens on the field, or maybe just 3? I think it's 4. 1, 2, 3. Did one of them die? Or already 3. He completed another experimental somewhere. Don't know where. The Megalith gonna turn around, possibly gonna start crab walking backwards. But the Megalith in a rough position, fighting off giant robots. And going to be losing in the giant robot war. Many Corsairs coming in to try and help out the chickens on the ground, and a lot of T1 bombers now being spammed out by Anya to try and get some consistent DPS. Pretty good strategy, but there are a few mobile T3 anti-air that's going to make it a little bit harder for both Metabog, who... Where did all of the ASF of Metabog go? Metabog had like hundreds a second ago, and now they're just all gone. Or what seemed like hundreds. Metabog taking a horrible air fight, or maybe he gifted it over to Luffa Q. That is also a possibility. But Luffa Q might be having struggles. A Scathis on the way for Metabog, and admittedly he has one of the strongest economies in the game, even challenging Ryan, who has way more map control right now, so that could be very significant. Ryan showing up with the Awasa. Gonna be throwing shots out with that, dropping bombs. Second Awasa of the game. Gonna have to see how many get built, as it does seem Ryan has a particular like for them. We're up to 3 chickens on this flank still. I don't know if any of the chickens died. Does not seem as though that happened. The Scathis already up to nearing 20%. Going to be important to keep an eye on that, see if it completes. Scathis can definitely change the course of this game. Team 2 been fighting from a deficit, but still fighting quite hard against Team 1, and does seem to have pulled the economic game back into parity. Maybe even getting somewhat of a lead at times economically, but Ryan, he's exerting so much pressure. It's the Ryan is running the ground game, and his allies are kind of running the air game. And Luffa Q looks like he's just taking another bad turn. And it's looking kind of desperate now. These 3 chickens, a huge threat. There is a chicken completed up for Luffa Q. And there might be another experimental coming out of any of these bases at any time. We have a disruptor halfway done for Anya. Could be huge. Combined experimental forces out from Ryan. Does, of course, have the Awasa in the back pocket. If he does manage to bring one of these columns down low enough on health or create enough of a disruption. The Awasa coming in for a bomb on all of these T2PD, which is going to make it a lot easier for his chickens to walk forward. The Awasa being targeted down by a bunch of ASF and is going to fall. One of the chickens for Ryan has died. We can see the death ball right here. Don't know if it's going to be super helpful for him. The death ball can sometimes be used as a offensive weapon, but now 2 death balls in this very small area, about to be a third as another chicken looks like it might be going down momentarily. And this is quite the chaotic scene of destruction. Very much going on, lightning being thrown everywhere. My computer not very happy with itself, having to generate all of this stuff, but in the end the attack is going to fail. And it does seem that Ryan has invested quite a bit here. There is a ton of reclaim right here. There's 130,000 right here. When you zoom out to the entire map, there's 200,000. Over half of the mass in the map is right here. This is a reclaim field of dreams. That Scathis can be done very quickly as long as they can get enough engineers out here to reclaim. And it does seem as though they might be able to make that happen. Another chicken already done, though. A strategic launch detected. Where is that going? Does seem to be heading over here to all of the build power in the northern side. Is there an anti-nuke? I am unsure. I wouldn't think so, as... Oh, there is an anti-nuke and it's loaded. That is unfortunate. If that lands, that definitely takes a huge weight off the shoulders of Team 2. If the second nuke launcher launches there, that will be enough. And it's almost ready to launch. If he launches it over here and kills off all of this build power, that will be huge. A megalith over here on the western side. Really haven't talked about the western side. Not much going on. Third Awasa of the game finished up now. And a fourth now on the way, this time for the likes of Zoom. A chicken now killing off extraneous structures and getting bombed by Anya. This megalith on the western side posing quite the threat. But the chicken on the eastern side also doing the same. Seems as though Team 2 is kind of struggling. Feels like they're spread thin despite having such narrow fronts. And it does seem that the megalith is going to be forced back by a bunch of T2 units, surprisingly. Mostly flak, in fact. Huh. Strange. Awasa's... Is there another one being built anywhere? Does not seem to be. The second nuke launcher is ready to launch. If it just launches right up here and kills off this build power, and that anti-nuke can open up an avenue for Ryan to be shut down. Ryan doing so much, basically managing the entire eastern front on his own, and also just building Awasas, which are doing so much for his team. Building so many experimentals and throwing them at the opponent is a pretty good strategy. The Awasa coming in on, I would guess this is a suicide run. He's going to drop a bomb, and then he's going to control K it. He's going to try and bomb the Scathis with the wreck of the Awasa. Wasn't quite enough to kill off the Scathis, but does leave it on precariously low health. And he's going to need to start building up more shields for this area, and also kind of needs to start catching these Awasas out before they get to the... before they're able to drop like that. That's such a painful situation. Does seem as though Ryan's going to be reclaiming his own Awasa wreck and maybe start building another one to try and drop it. And he is building another one, and it looks like that's going to be the strategy. He's going to drop the wrecks of the Awasas on top of the Scathis. I think the Scathis just... you just kind of need to focus it, my man. You have so much reclaim around you. The Scathis should have been done by now, I feel. I feel like the Scathis, he has the build power for it. I don't know what he's prioritizing over it, but the Scathis is your end-all be-all right now. You kind of just need it to be done. Another nuke launcher. This nuke is apparently not going to launch. anytime today. Is the anti-nuke over here loaded again? Yep, it is. Unfortunate that northern side's still going to be an issue for Team 2. The Awasa for Zoom about to finish up. That's the 4th Awasa, I believe. And 5th Awasa. Or it may be the 5th Awasa, as the 4th Awasa might also be Ryone's. Ryone stacking up the Awasa count. Is he going to go for another Awasa bomb into Control K to kill off the Scathis? A strategic launch has been detected. Don't know quite where that's going to be going, but is going to head north, going to be trying to take out some of this forward production. Zooey's going to fall back, going to kill off some Zooeys, which is always nice, but that is not a high value nuke. If he had launched once it was ready at the anti-nuke, another Awasa on the way. Is this, this is Awasa 4. That's Awasa 5. This will be Awasa 6. The game of ass washers has begun. And he's going to do the dirty, dirty wreck drop on top of the Scathis once again. And the Scathis is going to die. He's dropping so much reclaim right here. 200,000 reclaim in such a small area. But you can't use it if everything you try to build is just going to have an Awasa dropped on top of it. And Metabog in a rough position, the entirety of Team 2 in a rough position, as this just makes life so much more difficult. Oh my word. Awasa number 5 finished up. Awasa number 6 about to finish up. He's spamming out Awasa so quickly. He has 2 on the field at the same time. 5 and 6. Oh my word. So much going on with these Awasas. And it's so dirty, but it just feels like there's nothing you can do. You just need to win air, but Team 2 has shown they're unable to win air this entire match. And if Ryone is willing to throw away his economic production on these suicide runs with the Awasa, it's going to be... It doesn't seem like there's a way out of it. And this Awasa is going to possibly suicide bomb itself. It's going to Control K... I think that was a Control K, and it's going to land right on the Soothsayer and all this power. Reiko trying to go for Teleporter, and he already has Laser. Teleporter, he's standing right next to a power generator. That's so dangerous. Yuthoda now on the way. Anya is possibly going to go down here. After playing quite an impressive game, has fought pretty much this entire western flank by themselves. After I'm Happy and Romeo got taken down. Now Anya on the chopping block. If this power generator goes down, Anya dies. Oh wait, no. Anya's been repaired enough, but no, an Awasa bomb's gonna come in and bring him down to super low HP, and he's just gonna die. He launches his nuke in his death. He's launching it right on top of his own base to try and kill off everything around him. Another nuke being launched out from the base of Lufaq, but it looks like this may just be over. As that was, what, 6 or 7 Awasa? Where's the 8th and 9th? Lufaq has built an experimental. He's built a crab, but may not be enough. His nuke gets shot down. Oh, man. The painful, painful death of Team 2 as they're just being whittled down. Another Awasa on the way. Awasa being built by Zoom as well. Seems like Awasas are the name of the game. Oh man. Painful, painful death for Metabog. But unfortunately it's the death he's going to experience as a Fat Boy completes. Not that that's super relevant. There's a megalith on the southern side that's going to be causing issues. Megalith for Mickey Borg. A Awasa about to complete for Ryone. Another one halfway done for Zoom. Just spot the Awasa game at this point, because seems as though that's what's going to end the game. The second Scath is trying to be worked on, but he's kind of just distracted, trying to get up shields, trying to get up a lot of other stuff. I think at this point the Scathis would be too little and too late. I think Team 2 has had the nails slammed into their coffins, and these are the final death throes of a desperate group of players. 2v4, they started off so horribly with that double snipe out from Mickey Borg, killing off both GS4 and Dave, and now they are going to be going out with not a bang but a whimper. Awasa's on the field, at least one on the field as of this moment, a second one about to be finished up. Looks like it's just going to come in for a suicide bomb, or maybe not. Maybe doesn't feel like he needs to suicide bomb them anymore. Double megalith and chicken versus single megalith and nothing else. Megalith going to go down. And it just feels like there's not much that can be done. Luffaque trying to take a page out of the book of his opponents and build up some Awasas for some suicide bombs, I would guess, but does seem like too little too late. This Awasa going to be used for more efficiency than its predecessors, killing off extraneous structures. Another Awasa about to complete for Zoom. I've said Awasa probably 1,000 times this cast. Yet another Awasa being built over here. It's just Awasa Central. Zoom has completed his Awasa. And the ass washer for Ryan out here. A massive strat snipe out for Mickey Borg. Revenants coming in for the snipe onto Metabog. Or no, this is onto Luffaque. Makes no difference. Luffaque has now died. And now we have multiple Awasa probably just coming in for the death blows. Using the Awasa. Multiple Awasas on screen right now. Gonna be dropping bombs into the base of Metabog, who played quite a stunning game for only being an 1100, still putting up quite the fight. But in the end, all things die. And the Seraphim strategic bombers going to be able to kill off the comm of Metabog and end the game. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to my patrons. You all are beautiful. I appreciate you all for watching the videos and hope you enjoy. Like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe if you want to see more. Alright, goodbye, fuck you!